Have you ever noticed how your printer just seems to give up at the worst possible moment? You're rushing to print a report, a concert ticket, or your kid's homework, and bam! An error message pops up, telling you the ink is out. You shake the cartridge. You know there's still ink in there, but the printer refuses to cooperate. Frustrating, right? Well, what if I told you this isn't a coincidence? What if it's a deliberate design? Today, we re-diving deep into one of the most frustrating and widespread consumer conspiracies out there, the Great Printer Ink Ripoff. It all boils down to a concept called planned obsolescence. This is the practice of designing a product with an artificially limited lifespan, so it becomes obsolete or non-functional after a certain period or amount of use. And printer manufacturers are masters of this game. Let's start with the heart of the issue. That tiny, innocent-looking microchip on your ink cartridge. You might think it's there to help your printer work better, but its real job is often much more sinister. This chip acts as a counter. It doesn't measure the actual amount of ink left in the cartridge. Instead, it estimates ink usage based on the number of pages you've printed. So, when your printer has printed, say, 1,000 pages, the chip sends a signal. I'm empty. And just like that, your printer stops working. It doesn't matter if there's still 20, 30, or even 40% of the ink left inside. The chip has spoken, and the printer obeys. Why would they do this? The answer is simple and, frankly, brilliant from a business perspective: money. The business model for many printer companies isn't about selling you the printer itself. In fact, they often sell the printers at a very low cost, sometimes even at a loss. You can find a brand new all-in-one printer for as little as $50 or $60. That seems like a great deal, right? But that's just the bait. The real profit comes from the ink. This is called the razor and blades model. Sell the razor cheap and make a fortune selling the replacement blades. In this case, the printer is the razor, and the ink cartridges are the very, very expensive blades. Think about it. A new set of official brand name cartridges can often cost more than the printer itself. You buy a $50 printer, and 6 months later, you're shelling out $60 or $70 for a full set of ink. And because of that little chip, you'll be doing this over and over again. This creates a massive, recurring revenue stream for the company. They've locked you into their ecosystem. You have their printer, so you have to buy their ink. It's a cycle of spending that many of us are trapped in without even realizing it. But the page-counting chip is just one piece of the puzzle. There are other tricks up their sleeves. Have you ever noticed that even if you only print in black and white, your color ink levels seem to go down? That's because many printers use a tiny bit of color ink, even for black and white documents, supposedly to create a richer black. But it also conveniently drains your color cartridges, forcing you to replace them sooner. Some printers even run cleaning cycles that use up a surprising amount of ink, all under the guise of maintenance. And get this, some printers will refuse to print in black and white at all if just one of your color cartridges is empty. You need a document in black, you have a full black cartridge, but because the cyan is out, the printer becomes a paperweight. It's infuriating. This practice has led to numerous lawsuits over the years. Consumers and consumer rights groups have challenged these companies, accusing them of deceptive practices. In some cases, companies have had to pay out settlements and be more transparent about their ink usage. But the core business model remains largely unchanged. The financial incentive is just too powerful. So, what can you do about it? Are you doomed to forever spend a fortune on ink? Not necessarily. First, awareness is key. Now that you know about the page-counting chip and other tactics, you can make more informed decisions. When buying a new printer, do your research. Look for models that are known to be more ink efficient or have more consumer-friendly features. Some newer printers, like those with refillable ink tanks, are designed to break this cycle. You buy bottles of ink and pour them into the printer's reservoirs yourself. The upfront cost of the printer might be higher, but you'll save a huge amount on ink in the long run. Another option is to explore third-party or refilled ink cartridges. These are often much cheaper than the official brand name ones. However, be aware that printer manufacturers fight back against this. They might issue firmware updates for your printer that block third-party cartridges from working. They'll flash warnings on your screen saying that using non-genuine ink could damage your printer or void your warranty. While there's a small risk, these warnings are often just scare tactics to keep you buying their expensive products. Many people use third-party ink for years with no issues at all. There are even some DIY hacks online that show you how to reset the chip on your cartridge, tricking the printer into thinking it's a new one. This allows you to use up all the ink you actually paid for. This can be a bit technical and might not work for all models, but for the tech-savvy and adventurous, it's a way to fight back. Ultimately, the printer ink conspiracy is a perfect example of how corporations can design products not for the consumer as benefit, but for their own recurring profit. It's a system built on digital limitations and planned obsolescence that costs us, the consumers, billions of dollars every year. By understanding how it works, we can start to break free from the cycle. Look into ink tank printers, consider third-party ink, and always question those low ink warnings. Your wallet will thank you. Thanks for watching. If you found this video eye-opening, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend who is always complaining about their printer. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the products we use every day. See you in the next one.